first time since 1969, the top offensive team and the top defensive team in the NCAA meet in the Final Four, a rematch of last year's Sweet 16 game. The Duke Blue Devils and the Houston Cougars. Winner faces the Florida Gators in the national championship game after Florida knocked off the Auburn Tigers 79-73. Auburn was the top overall team in the entire tournament. Florida with a masterclass from Walter Clayton Jr., who had 34 points and has been on a tear all throughout the tournament. 4 rebounds and 2 assists on 11 of 18 shooting for Clayton. And he gets helped out by Elijah Martin, 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 highlight reel dunks on the victory for the Gators. Auburn exits this game with 18 points from Chad Baker-Mazara, with 4 steals to go with that. Johnny Bruin with 15 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. One of the more complete efforts for him. And 10 points for Denver Jones on an abysmal 3 of 9 shooting. And the winner of this game between Houston and Duke will face the Florida Gators in the final. Hell of one, I am out now, but the last time that these two teams faced off, it was a 54-51 Duke victory with 16 and 14 points respectively from Kyle Filipkowski and Jeremy Roach, with Filipkowski adding 9 rebounds. Tyrese Proctor, who is still on the team, coming back to Duke, 3 steals. This is Duke's 15th Final Four appearance. They lost to the North Carolina Tar Heels 81-77 3 years ago in their last appearance in what was Mike Krzyzewski's final game as Duke's head coach, before he gave the reins to John Shire to be the team's next head coach. Houston is making their 7th Final Four appearance. They fell to the Baylor Bears 4 years ago, 78-59, in a Final Four that saw the Gonzaga Bulldogs knock off the UCLA Bruins 93-90 in overtime on the Jalen Suggs half-court shot. What an outstanding shot that was. Suggs is now in the NBA, being the primary point guard for the Orlando Magic, who have locked themselves into the play-in tournament. The short-handed Cougars lost Jamal Shead mid-game last year, and that loss shimmered for 12 months. But now Houston will get a chance to return the favor, led by LJ Cryer and Jawan Roberts, 1 year older and more cohesive. It's the most complete team that Kelvin Sampson has ever coached. They've lost just once since December, but Duke is no longer the underdog. They are the hunter, with Cooper Flagg leading the charge. This is the highest rated team in 16 years. Winners of 31 of their last 32. And Kaman Malawak, the freshman phenom, is dunking everything on sight. They haven't just beaten teams, they've overwhelmed them, averaging nearly 92 points per game in the tournament, cruising past the Baylor Bears, Arizona Wildcats, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. This isn't just a matchup of blue blood against modern power. It's the most suffocating defense in the nation against the most explosive offense in the nation. Relentless. Not stopping at anything to get what they want. A chess match with the Final Four legacy implications, and maybe even more here at San Antonio. At its heart, the Final Four is a clash about belief. Houston believes they can rewrite last year's heartbreak with the toughness and experience. Duke believes they can make history with the youth and their talent. And here, in a Texas-sized matchup, everything is bigger. Here and now, as we get introduced to both teams, with the Houston Cougars and the Duke Blue Devils. Beginning with Houston, their starting 3 guards, LJ Cryer, Emmanuel Sharp, and Milos Uzan, have all made significant contributions all year long, especially during their run to the Final Four in the last few weeks. The frontcourt players, Jawan Roberts and Joseph Tugler, have earned their recognition. Roberts for his experience and being the winningest athlete in program history at 148-23. Tugler for being named the Lefty Draisaitl Award winner as the top defensive player in the country. The big question is they can slow down Flagg. Houston's methodical pace, one of the slowest in the country, could pose a challenge for the Blue Devils. The guards are not long, but they love the mid-range jumper. And when they shoot the free, they do it better than anyone in the country, close to 40%. They don't try to score at the rim a lot, as they have one of the lowest rim rates in the entire nation, but they'll get their fair share of offensive rebounds, albeit not dominating the glass against Duke like they do against most teams. Kelvin Sampson has 798 career wins. If he gets one here and one on Monday, that'll get him 800 plus his first ever national championship. The last time around, it was a much different experience when things have returned to normal because of COVID, and there were hardly any fans in attendance. And that thought was scary for Kelvin Sampson, knowing that the pressure was high and it was mentally tough for everyone around. Not a lot of fan interactions, but this week, with Sampson taking Houston to the Final Four for the second time as their head coach, things have gone differently, returned to normal. The Cougars left their campus on a bus Wednesday afternoon for the short drive west on I-10 to San Antonio, and got the VIP treatment at their hotel and when they went out to eat dinner that night. Then on Friday, in front of a large crowd at the Alamo Dome, the Cougars had a public workout. The following night, in front of thousands and thousands of fans, they'll be playing for the right to be in their first national title game since 1984. Sampson disclosed he didn't get the chance to see his wife Karen the whole time he and the Cougars were in the Indianapolis bubble. But another unique thing that he pointed out about the 2021 Final Four was, with the bubble and the annual coaches convention that takes place the week at the Final Four, one coach may be at one school but end up at another school by the time they've left the bubble. It was a much more rewarding experience for the Cougars when they arrived to San Antonio, by the way. And the rewards may be ever so sweet if they do come out on top. One player to watch, Terrence Arsenault, who's more than capable of coming up with more heroics this weekend in the Alamo Dome. So Sampson was asked about the contributions that Arsenault has been making for the Cougars during a press conference. But do remember, Arsenault averaging 6.8 points per game. He had 10 points in the Cougars' opening round win against SIU Edwardsville. The other Cougars, by the way. He had a career-high 16 points in a December win against the Toledo Rockets. Arsenault was one of the heroes for his high school, Beaumont United High School in Beaumont, Texas, during a Class 5A title game in the state championship at the Alamo Dome. For Duke, there'll be no stone left unturned for the Blue Devils last night against Houston in the Final Four. It is put up or shut up, but not an unfamiliar matchup for them after playing against the Cougars in the Sweet 16 last year, with a 3-point win over Houston. But a lot's changed in Durham since then. Only one player's significant minutes in that game remains with the program, that being Proctor. John Shires rely on the junior guard to lead the way. He has put together a near-perfect roster to get them to this point. He's hoping that they can find a way with 2 more games, headlined by AP Player of the Year Cooper Flagg, his sidekick Con Canupel, and 7'2" big man Kaman Malawa. But they have to play one of their best games of the season to beat the Cougars with the top-ranked defense in the country, and 3 players need to shine for the Blue Devils to play on Monday night. Heading into that game, so the first of the 3 being Zion James. Shire responded to the idea that Duke will need to get tougher and added the Tulane transfer was fit perfectly in this roster. They'll need his toughness and physicality against the Cougars, specifically on the defensive end, when trying to contain all the guards of the Cougs. Cryer, Sharp, and Uzan all averaged double-digit points per game and shoot over 40% from 3. At the beginning of the Sweet 16 last year, Duke looked overmatched and overwhelmed by the physicality and toughness of Houston. A lot changed when Cougar guard Jamal Shed was injured the first half with an ankle injury and could not return. If James is not physical on the defensive end of the floor, making things tough for those players to get clean looks, that could be the end of the season for the Blue Devils. Plus, James has been reliable on the offensive end of the floor for Duke, shooting 41.7% from 3-point range and 16 points in the Sweet 16 on 3 of 4 shooting for 3-point territory were very much needed. Every player on Houston is a grown man, and no one better represents that than their center, Jawan Roberts. He's listed at 6'8", 235 pounds, but he sometimes looks like he should be playing football instead of basketball when you watch him closely on the floor. He's in his 5th year of college basketball. He hopes to use that experience to overcome his size disadvantage against Kaman Malawak. Malawak is a star in March Madness as NBA scouts salivating at the idea of adding him to the roster next season. He's most impressively shooting 87% from the floor during this tournament. He's become unstoppable on pick and rolls. His ability to switch on the perimeter defensively has been a game changer for Duke. But will his inexperience show against the veteran Houston frontcourt? But if Malawak can dominate the paint like he did last weekend in Newark, Duke will be in the driver's seat for the national championship. But the last player to look at for Duke among the key players to watch is none other than the veteran guard, Tyrese Proctor. He's been waiting for this moment for his junior season. He told John Shire that he'll be coming back after the Blue Devils lost to the NC State Wolfpack, Duke's cross-city rivals in the Elite Eight last season, where Proctor went 0 for 9 from the field in the loss. He's avenged the misfortunes of a chance to advance to the national championship game. He's been one of the best shooters in the tournament in the last 2 weeks, and similar to James, Duke will need him to be at his best defensively against Houston's backcourt. Proctor went 13 of 16 from free during the first weekend. So we're about to get underway here in San Antonio. Here we go! The winner will face the Gators in the national championship. So, as we go on for this game, Uzen, Cryer, Sharp, Roberts, and Tugler. The starting five for Houston, as this shot was shanked, or actually was partially blocked. Houston's wearing the all-black uniforms, Duke in the all-white uniforms. Duke's starting five being James, Proctor, Knuppel, Flagg, and Malawak. Houston gets set on the left wing to drop for Cryer. Cryer has James on him one-on-one. They exchange some quick looks. Cryer with free, kicked out left corner for Uzen. Too far. Was knocked out 0.3 seconds left on the shot clock, but it was last touched by Houston, and Calvin Sampson a little upset about that. But they're going to say, I think it was going to be Duke ball, I think. Here's the first major question about who last touched the ball. And now there's a timing issue. It looks like it went off of James, so it should be Houston ball. They're not saying that right now. They're going to say point free on the shot clock. Now they're saying Houston ball. Point free on the shot clock. Watch for the alley-oop attempt. So it will be a toss inside. Watch for the tip and attempt. Quick shot. And that's a shot clock violation. They did not get it up on time. 33 seconds inside of this game. And so far, no scoring. And Kelvin Sampson vying for his first national championship. And John Shire wants to win his first national championship in just his third season as Duke's head coach. He was a star for Duke in 2010. Here's Flagg, fakes and delivers. Malawak's there. Ball is tipped up several times and is grabbed by the Cougars. Through the far side, Houston slows the pace down. This is what they like to do. Now inside. And immediately a foul is going to be called as Emmanuel Sharp, the team's shooting guard, goes inside. Here's Uzen playing at the point guard position. Cryer can alternate the shooting guard position. Sharp, the de facto small forward. But a huge defensive presence for Tugler to reject Cooper Flagg. And already Tugler is feeling a little bit banged up. So immediately Javier Francis checks in. So Tugler will go and sit down for several minutes as here's the inbound. Watch where it looks from free. Sent back over to Cryer, who draws Flagg on him. LJ Cryer moves at the right wing. Now goes opposite side. Long free on the way. Bounced out, but in there is Roberts get the rebound. Here's Cryer, second chance. Got it. LJ Cryer sets the tone. Already Houston's on the board. 17 points in the Elite Eight. On 6 of 17 shooting with 7 rebounds and 4 assists, it's Cryer. He put on a masterclass against Gonzaga in the second round, where he had at 30 points. Cooper Flagg moves at the left hash. He fakes out and then goes to Knuppel. Knuppel fakes to the right hash, puts one up. He is fouled and will shoot 2. And we see another masterclass here between best offensive team against best defensive team. Usually they say defense wins championships. Another saying that's true is that offense wins you games. While Houston's the best defensive team in the nation, they can put up good offense as well. They're one of the best three-point shooting teams in the nation when they shoot the ball. Knuppel will fire the first one here. Got the first one. The Milwaukee, Wisconsin native looking to make Durham proud. There are watch parties all over the Durham and Houston. There is one at Cameron Indoor Stadium right now. The second one. Knocked it. And it's within one. Knuppel, 21 points in the Elite 8 with 5 rebounds and 5 assists. As the Cougars look to push up. One-on-one with James. This is knocked back for Cryer. LJ Cryer moves around to Sharp. Manny Sharp over to Javier Francis. Looking to get open. Francis will shift left and then head back for Tugler. The switch here as Knuppel gets the defense on him. 3-pointer's too far, but it's kept inside by Houston. Shifted out for Cryer. Cryer moves inside, in and out the paint. Fadeaway mid-range shot is short. It's tipped up, and this will go to Duke. Last touch in front, the front court by Roberts as Tugler is cycling over at the Houston sideline. Checking on that leg. We'll monitor his status the rest of the way, but we might assume that he could be coming back at some point. Flagg fakes out his man and opens up space at the Final Four logo. Flagg shifts right on the right hash, lays one up, it bounces up to tip in. Houston fans are calling for an offensive goaltend, there is none. 2-on-2 the other way on the rush as Houston spins. Manny Sharp lays one up, doesn't go through. Saved by Roberts, who kicks it out for Cryer. And then moves over to Milos Uzan, who shifts around several times. Uzan draws Knuppel on, gets the box out from Roberts, give and go. Roberts hooks one up, it bounces out, and the rebound grabbed by Flagg. Cooper Flagg moves the other way. Will he work his magic? Here's James, it's at a deep 2. Doesn't matter, it bounced out. And now Francis will set up on the near side for Uzan. Uzan. He loses Proctor and gets the switch with Flagg on him. Another screen. Draws James and goes to Cryer, who has Flagg with him. Cryer, his speed, the shift. Couldn't swish that. Knuppel the rebound. And then moves up for Proctor. Left wing side. Proctor moves it up onto the left hash for Flagg. Only one field goal in this game, the low one by Houston on a free. Duke has missed out on each one of their field goals, including their 5th one, which was knocked away in intended alley-oop for Malawak. It is moved up for Sharp. Manny Sharp kicks it out. And there's a foul drawn up front. He was trying to pass it to Javier Francis. Both fan bases loyal as Duke, originating from Durham, North Carolina. Houston, of course, the namesake, the city, Houston, Texas. Manuel Sharp will shoot 2 free throws here. They call it a shooting foul and not a personal foul. First one bounced out, hit the rim twice before it bounced out. More substitutions as we have Terrence Arsenault, a hero for Beaumont United High School, in the Class 5A state championships at this very venue. He checks in for the first time. Sharp will shoot a second one. Native of Tampa, Florida. Second one. Sinked it. Malawak will sit down. And Sharp will sit down after those 2 free throws. For Myleik Wilson, Rayville, Louisiana native. Went to high school at Rayville. 8 rebounds to free, the advantage for Houston. 5 of them on the offensive side of the glass. Kicked out to the right corner for Knuppel. Launches one and hits it. Just the second field goal of this game. It's Knuppel. This talented Duke squad, filled with a lot of young guys who can, of course, overcome all sorts of narratives. The double, it's intercepted on the near side. And moving up is Foster. Foster hooks one, knocked away, and it'll be saved by Duke for a split-second flag. Tries to get it alive. Houston takes it away, and then up goes the fake out and the lay-in for Wilson. That's why they're the best defensive team in the nation. Myleik Wilson off the bench. Ferocious defense by the Cougs. And on the near side is Knuppel, launches one again. Bounced out, and Sharp gets this rebound. Can Houston pull this one off? Instead of being the favorites, they're now the underdogs, as Duke is the heavy favorites. Wilson will try again. Too far, and this will be a defensive rebound, look to be an offensive rebound almost for the Cougars. Caleb Foster will set up at the logo. Foster delivers right side. And here's Knuppel, goes back for Flagg. Long three on the way. Bank shot. Who else? He is as reliable as he can go by. Cooper Flagg is inevitable. Near side, as Duke has just hit their second three-pointer on 4 tries. Houston 1 of 5 on this department despite shooting over 40% for most of the season. On the left wing, the shake and bake on for the paint. This one off the glass, and it bounced out 3 times and it stayed out. Foster goes far. It will set up Flagg. Left wing for Proctor, who will go inside. Lofts this one in. Watch the jumper for Tyrese Proctor. That can be very hard to stop. 17 points per game for this tournament, averaging 3 assists per game as their shooting guard. Sent left for Houston as they look to counter. On the right wing, it is Uzan who will go back for Cryer. LJ Cryer moves left. He gets a screen. Cryer, the switch, the turnaround jumper, knocked down. LJ Cryer makes his statement. Duke looking to go back with this one. Back and forth we go. The first game was a good one. Will we see another good one here between 2 heavyweights? The Cougars and the Blue Devils. Modern generation team versus Blue Blood. It is Flagg who plays for the Blue Blood. For Proctor. Proctor boxed out twice. He defers to Flagg. Flagg sells for the deep ball. Bounced out. Great defense by Houston. We've had several minutes without a whistle here. 7 minutes in, and we have yet to reach the first timeout officially. The step back from Cryer. Oh, that's in and out. And jumping up is Foster for the rebound. And here's Flagg. Flagg goes coast to coast. Slams it down. The jam by Flagg, who plants the flag here in San Antonio. He's had 15 games, at least 20 points this season. Will this be his 16th? Moving left and now right. Here's Uzan. Couldn't deliver it. And one-handing this one down is Flagg. Moving up near side and now center to the right. Foster, who goes out to the wing. He'll set up shop on the right wing for Nyongba and now finds a cutting Kanupo, who lays it in. Con Kanupo set up by Patrick Nyongba. The step up and go time. Duke now on a 9-2 run to the last 2:42 as Uzan was up on the left wing. Houston trying to get a look. Moving inside. Now finally have a whistle on this layup attempt that was in and out. However, we get our first official timeout. It is the lead here for Duke. 14-8 with 11:51 to go in this first half. Duke leading as we're in the first half of the first half. The one game was already over and done with. The winner of this game facing the Florida Gators in the national championship and an old friend, Jim Nantz, watching his Houston Cougars. He is a Houston alum. And Coach K in the building. He won 5 national championships with the Blue Devils. One of the most successful coaches in NCAA men's basketball history. The advice he told to John Shire has paid off. And he's still one of the smartest minds in college basketball. And he also used to coach USA, the men's basketball team. The USA men's basketball team in the Olympics. We have 2 free throws here for the Cougars. LJ Cryer, graduate student, and a health science major. He sinks the first one. So probably the health science and stuff is helping him out. So now, after the first free throw, we once again go to break. It's 14-9 Duke when we return. The brotherhood between Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Dante DiVincenzo, and Josh Hart will never get old. These 4 Villanova teammates together with the Wildcats. Unfortunately, DiVincenzo was traded away in the trade that brought Karl Anthony Towns to the Knicks. The hope was that these 4 Villanova players would be together. Tears to Wildcats' eyes. Probably a reunion between those 4. Ryan Arcidiacono, Chris Jenkins, and Jay Wright. Who knows? Coach K in the building here. But Houston has to shoot one more free throw here with LJ Cryer. He made the first one already. He's going to shoot the second one. On the way. That bounced out. And Duke will start up with this. And Coach K with the contempt expression. Duke has started 1 of 6. They're now 4 of 5 ever since the 1-4-6 start. Finding their groove. Proctor inside. It's bobbled in and out of Foster thanks to that defense of Houston. Gillis, Knuppel, Proctor. The shake and bake. Moving on the right wing. And this was thrown away. Here come the Cougars as Roberts got her step one and shanked the layup. Gillis is fouled. The transfer from Purdue grabs this rebound, but an excellent and steal by Roberts to go coast to coast. Unfortunately, could not finish with this layup. And a foul against Roberts as he went in on Gillis. Shake and bake up for the middle. Good defense by Milos Uzan on Caleb Foster. One going inside the paint. And our officiating crew of this game, Tony Padilla, Roger Ayers, and Courtney Green. For this game, as we have more free throws incoming here. Get the sideline view from the near side of the court. First free throw is short. That's the second foul against Uzan. Houston and Duke with 3 fouls each. And Uzan is going to sub out at this one. Already he's in foul trouble. Foster will shoot another one. Too far in that one. He missed both. Rebound up for grabs is taken by Flagg, who lays it up. Knuppel, excuse me. Thought it was Flagg. Well, it's Knuppel. This is the largest deficit that Houston has faced in the entire tournament. And while known for their stifling defense, they must convert on offense. On the left wing, it's Foster. Watches his man. And now back up is Tugler, who got a bump. And a foul on the retrieval. Tugler went ramming into the Blue Devil, who wanted to get right after the ball. A swat several times as Knuppel, he was rushing into the ball after several tips. Basically hot potatoes. Mason Gillis got bumped by Tugler. And we get a timeout here with Duke leading 16-9. The Houston fans have made the trip across Interstate 10. It's going westbound But shout out to the Duke students who made the trip, catching a flight from Raleigh-Durham International Airport all the way to San Antonio International Airport. Kanoopel was a kid previously, made it to the 2015 National Championship, and guess who he caught? Coach K. And now he gets to play for the Blue Devils under John Shire. Moving around to the right wing is Duke. They were previously led in the late 2010s by a guy named Grayson Allen. On the left, Kanoopel. On the number 7, trying to shift around, delivers one off to Proctor. On the right wing, Foster wants to go back with this. Now moving up, a layup, shanked. The offensive rebound is put through. Nice finish there for the Blue Devils. Up and in. 10-10 to go here in the first half. It was Houston calling timeout, looking to change the momentum. And then moving around is Wilson. Malik Wilson gets the switch with Kanoopel on him. Basically, pick your poison. A shift, on for the lay at the right wing. Just got this one off. And again, it's dispossessed. This ball is rolling out. It'll go to Duke. What is happening to the Cougars this early? But Jawan Roberts wanted to move up with this. He tried to save it inside, but Malik Brown with a perfect poke right inside the paint. That's the second turnover that the Blue Devils have forced. But they're sinking 7 of their 14 shots. Houston 3 of 16. Proctor sets up. It is Brown. Will find Kanoopel. Kanoopel puts one up. And it's short. But saving it is Gillis. Here's Proctor. Bounced out. And he's grabbed by Kanoopel for a second offensive rebound. Proctor cuts in. Bounces up. No third time's the charm there. The Cougars take it away. Near side, here they come. On the right wing. And a nice double team. It's going to be a kickball violation. Mason Gillis tried to reach in. Gillis played the national championship last year for the Purdue Boilermakers. Was a key transfer for the Blue Devils. Acquiring him. Moving over from Lafayette. Over to Durham. Wholesale changes here. As Duke subs out 4/5 of their unit. For a unit that includes Common Malawak and Cooper Flagg. Terrence Arsenault checks in. Malik Wilson checks out. Houston will inbound it. And looking up front. On for the right side. Flagg, Evans, Malawak, James, and Gillis. So among those 5 players that were on the court on the previous sequence, only Gillis remains. For the left wing, as Arsenault centers up for Tugler and then back. Tugler back in the game after getting injured previously. Offensive rebound to Roberts. And another chance was blocked by a foul. But it's going to be a foul against Duke before the shot was put up. As Jawan Roberts was met by Common Malawak, who swatted that one away. Elite rim protection from the 7'2" big man for the Blue Devils. But Roberts will end up shooting 2. They're in a bit of a scoring drought here. They need to end it. First shot. Bounced out. Malawak, native of South Sudan. Went to the NBA Academy in Africa at Senegal. The experience is paid off in bunches. And then some. For this freshman center. Roberts has yet to score. He is 0 for 3 shooting. With 6 rebounds. Second shot. Sunk that one. He has his first point of tonight. Duke still up ahead by 8 points. It's 18-10. On for the point. Setting things up is James. Zion James goes back. It is Duke. Flagg with it. Flagg centers up. Flagg spins. Feeds Malawak. Malawak rejected and is grabbed by Arsenault, who had to get away from the approaching Blue Devil Gillis. For the far side, Houston looking for their first field goal make in 5 minutes. And they get it with Manny Sharp. He brings the pain from the Woodlands. Just a second free for the Cougars tonight. As James will look, moving up and then out. Immediate free from Gillis. Short. It'll fall on to Cryer. LJ Cryer, who moves left. Cryer from the free throw line, kicked out to the left corner. Bounced out. Rebound is tipped up, and a race for the ball is won by the Cougs. Here's Cryer who fakes the free, going inside for Tugler. Robert spins, reverse layup goes. How about this for the Cougars? After being down by 9 points, they have found some life, and Jon Scheyer will use his timeout. The Houston crowd on their feet. They have scored the last 6 points here in San Antonio. This could be a de facto home game for them, given that it's just a trip down the I-10. I'm Alec Nava. We'll be right back. San Antonio, a city that is one of the 10 most populous cities in the United States, ranking 7th in population. Houston ranking 4th in population in the States. But here, a chance for immortality between the Cougars, Blue Devils, and the Gators, who are waiting for the winner of this game. Winner will go on to Monday. Loser goes home. In the first 4 games, Houston has trailed a total of 7 minutes and 46 seconds. Tonight, they have trailed for 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So now, they want to take the lead here and put their defensive pressure on the Blue Devils and looking to pull off an upset. Duke is the favorite for very good reason. It's the most talented squad of this Duke team in a long time. Duke has allowed 38.5% shooting rate this season, 4th lowest in D1. Among shooting rates, Houston is 5 of 20, Duke is 7 of 19, and Jon Scheyer calling timeout will just help the Blue Devils. With Zion James leading the charge, they missed their last 5 shots. As Flagg will set up James. James to the left side and then backing up. He'll feed Flagg again. Flagg has Knuppel at the right wing with James setting the screen. Flagg sets up James in front. He is doubled up. James pump fakes. Cut and deliver one. Roberts grabs the rebound. And up the middle, here come the Cougs. Looking to tie this game up with a free. Or maybe cut it to 1 with a 2 on the inside. Uzan on the left wing. Knuppel watching. The guy that Uzan passed to, well, Cryer gets it back. Here's Cryer. Who'll shift inside Roberts. Jawan Roberts can't hook it. Flagg lost it. And here's Arsenal, who got it back. Fadeaway shot, blocked by Flagg. And down the far side, here he has it. Flagg, he'll set things up. Set shot on the right wing for James. Both teams with 2 blocks each, as Flagg will look. One of the most dominant players in the NCAA right now. Flagg, half spin, free throw line, bounce, up and out. And it's knocked away by Knuppel. Houston will go with the ball. The Cougars looking to deliver here a tying basket to knock things up at 18. It's been the defense that's been the story of this game. Houston slowing down Duke's pace. They like to take things slow, but Duke is comfortable playing at a slow pace as they are at playing at a fast pace. Emmanuel Sharp with Tyrese Proctor watching. From the logo, delivers one left. A bump from Roberts and then back to Sharp, who is boxed all the way out by Olajuwon. Sharp moves up front. He's pickpocketed. Nice job defensively by the Blue Devils as James took it away. Proctor backs up. He sets up off for James. Left wing. Duke starts 7-14. They missed their last 7 shots. Knuppel. He'll look at the right wing for Flagg. As Knuppel goes to the inside. Olajuwon puts it through! An absolute bulldozer plus the foul. That's what you call mean mugging him. Colin Olajuwon takes the pass inside from Cooper Flagg. Plus contact from Emmanuel Sharp to get the slam inside. How about this connection? They'll have a chance to extend the Duke lead to 6. Averages 2 blocks per game, 11.5 points per game. 2 dribbles. And now the shot. It bounces up and in. And we have a substitution on the way here as Caleb Foster will check in the place of Zion James. As he checks out, high-fiving John Shire. Coach K watching. But Jim Nance is also watching. Arsenault. He'll set things up. 3 of 6 free throw shooting is Houston. 3 of 5, Duke. Shooting wise, 8-22, Duke. Houston 5-22. And Duke has the advantage of points to the paint for 12-4. Foster boxes out his man. Arsenault, he's been a hero here in this venue. Can he do it again? He moves inside, deep 2. Airballed it, but it's saved inside. 5 on the shot clock. It's moved onto the right wing. Roberts was pickpocketed. And it goes out of bounds off of Malik Brown. Good defense from Brown to get this one out. Got his hand inside there. And then off the shoulder through. Able to hang in there. They say it's Duke ball. 21-15 they lead. Shot the national championship on the line. Here's Proctor, immediately fires in. Oh, wow! The free throw line, that is. And Duke tried to catch Houston sleeping with Foster. Already, Proctor's up to 4 points. Overcoming his shooting woes from the Elite 8 last year, which he went 0 for 9 against the Wolfpack. On the left hash, here is Malik Wilson. And that was airballed. Caleb Foster right on Joseph Tugler. He delivers, says, get that out of here. And Foster boxes out Tugler to prevent that from being grabbed by Tugler, who was trying to grab that on a bulldozer. 4:40 to go. Still a lot of game left, but already Duke has the lead. Of course, as they say in March Madness, crazy things have happened. Such as when Florida came back on Auburn and when they came back on Texas Tech. Here it is onto the right wing, moving up on the right hash. The shot blocked. It's tipped up, and the Cougars grab it off of Roberts. Through the far side, Houston trying to end their scoring drought. They have not scored in the last 3:33 and counting. Moving up for the right hash. Just got it off. Here's Sharp. Couldn't deliver on the jumper. Foster grabs the board. Scoring drought still going. Near side is Flagg. Houston 2 of 8 from free. They're trying to go with the three-pointer a lot here, which is usually the bread and butter. Kicked out right corner, that's moved over to Proctor. Extra pass, here's Knuppel left corner. Brilliant! Con Knuppel to cap off a brilliant passing play from 3 Duke players. including James, who set it up. Duke is on an 8-0 run here in the last 2+ minutes. Houston trying to move through with ease. Near side, here is Cryer. LJ Cryer moves up. Watched by Roberts, who spins. Who slams it? Cuts baseline. To stop the scoring drought for the moment. 3:15 to play in the half. And Roberts with a powerful slam down the middle with the cut. Here is Malik Brown, who moves right wing. Flagg shifts. Crosses. Moves up. Delivers. Baseline. Brown lays it. What a play by Cooper Flagg, who made it happen. He draws a double team on the drive and frees up the space for Brown. Will we see a timeout? With 2:42 left in his first half, Houston trying to fight back as it's Arsenault, who delivers up front. Crowd up as Francis. He is fouled when hooking that one over the way. When we come back, he'll shoot two, but Duke showcasing their full potential and their full arsenal. Concanupo, Cooper Flagg, extending this lead to 11. 28-17. Blue Devils lead. All roads lead to San Antonio. And I'm not talking about just the I-10, I-35, or the I-37. Every road here in March Madness leads here this year. Houston sagging behind, 6-26 shooting. Duke is 11-26. But it's the turnovers that have been key along with the assists. Duke has the major advantage there, 8-2. Turnovers are 6-2 Houston. That's been plaguing them through this game. And the Capital One Bank guy, he can make some free throws here. I wonder what his free throw shooting percentage is. Whatever it is, he's got to be higher than Charles Barkley's. Well, nonetheless, here is Houston to shoot 2 free throws right after this break. First shot, nailed it. So the second free throw is going to be coming up for Myleik Wilson. Or Javier Francis, who has 6.5 points per game throughout the tournament on 62.5% shooting. As Roberts and Sharp with him. Second shot. Banked it. 9-point deficit here. Kelvin Sampson looking for his first national championship in his long and storied career. So Houston's early stages being a member of the Big 12. Knuppel gets himself open away from the screen. Knuppel, he feeds Flagg up front. Flagg is boxed out. 8 assists on 11 shots for field goal makes here for the Blue Devils. Flagg couldn't get this one to roll. It's kept out. Bounces up. Flagg, open basket, layup, count it. Ho, ho, ho. Amazing for Cooper Flagg. The crafty handwork to get that through. And he'll be rewarded with a free throw. The contact to the face to get that one as well, to adjust and scoop it up, lay it in. Wow. Teams may be scrambling around on figuring how to stop him. What to say is, he can only hope to contain him. His and one. Perfect. How about this kid? Here's the Flagg family who's watching onwards as Duke jumps to a 31-19 lead. It has moved out towards the half-court logo. Houston scrambling, trying to find an answer. Milos Uzan. He'll back up several steps with 150. Foster draws him. Uzan kicks it out left corner. Immediate free on the way. Bank shot. It's a 9-point deficit now. Thanks to LJ Cryer with the setup from Uzan. 2 of 4 from free are the Cougars. 3 of 9 shooting. Cryer alley-oop. And there's a smack. Right inside on Malawak, who tried to get the alley-oop. Knuppel checks up on him, and he and Proctor help him up to his feet. So when we go to the halftime report, we'll check in with what to see around the NCAA, plus updates in the NHL and the NBA. By the way, the Eastern Conference field in the NBA has been set. It's just a matter of seeding order. 1:28 to play in this first half. Malawak is going to shoot 2. 7 fouls against the Cougars. First shot. Short. And the de facto Houston home crowd here cheering that. Knuppel stays out. So does Roberts. Another opportunity. Second shot. Perfect. It's a 10-point lead here for Duke. The boys from Durham have led most of this game. Have usually not trailed here. Houston's 5 of 8 on free throws, but they gotta start making buckets. Roberts saying to screen on Foster, which allows the free up space for Uzan, who delivers one. Bank shot again. The bread and butter of the Cougars with another cat scratch. 1:03 to go here in the half. Foster, he is shifted out. Gets the switch on Uzan. Knuppel. Flagg. Powers through at the left side with Roberts on him. Flagg almost lost it. Able to hold on to it on his left hand. Knuppel calling for the ball. Flagg to Malawak. Fouled again with 46.2. And that's the power of Flagg that he can create opportunities on the inside. But Milos Uzan, a sharpshooter, able to knock that one down from distance with the running jumper. Cryer, Sharp, and Uzan all are over 40% from three-point shooting. The highest rate coming from Uzan, 44.5%. Malawak has made 1 or 2 from the line previously. He'll get 2 opportunities here. And the Houston crowd taunting him. First shot is good. The Houston crowd and the student section that is in front of Malawak trying to slow him down. And Flagg over at the sides. The hash marks I meant. Now Malawak will get another chance. He made his first one. See if he can make the second one. On the way. Yes. 9-point lead again for the Blue Devils as Malik Brown checks back in. One of the better defensive pieces for the Blue Devils as Malawa checks out. And Brown matched up with Roberts. James is in. From the logo is delivered over to the left wing. And a setup pass behind. Shifts around from Cryer. Cryer pulls up. Delivers! L.J. Cryer with another deep shot. He's up to 12 points. Looking to will the Cougars back into this. Shot clock is off. James will find Flagg. 15 to go. In this first half, does Duke pull an exclamation point here? 8 seconds. Flagg. Flagg looks over left side. Now delivers over to Proctor. Bounces up and out with .2. .2 on the clock here in the first half. Watch for the half-court shots here. Don't want to get any open looks. But Houston's looking to run down the clock, which they do. Houston has trailed for most of this game. They trailed more in this game than they have for the rest and throughout the first 4 rounds of this tournament. They're only down by 6, but momentum can change on a dime. The Blue Devils lead 34-28 at the half. As we check in on our halftime statistics here from San Antonio. And so far, Cooper Flagg has been the big name of this show. For Houston, led by L.J. Cryer, 12 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist on 3 of 5 from three-point land. He's their leader, 5 points from Juwan Roberts, 8 rebounds. 2 of 6 from the field though, that has to get better, but those 8 rebounds are valuable for the Cougars. And they have 9 rebounds in the offensive side of the glass. 12 points from Con Canupo at halftime, 3 rebounds. Cooper Flagg with 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. I'm Alec Nava. See you for the halftime report here at San Antonio when we come back. everyone, I am Alec Nava. Welcome to the Halftime Report. We just gone over the player stats at halftime. Let's go to the team stats. Shooting wise, Houston 9-29, Duke is 12-29. So Duke, for as much as we can talk about Houston as elite as they are defensively, don't count out Duke's defense. They are good there as well. From 3-point range, Houston is 5-11, Duke is 3 of 9. For Houston, the free throw rate is 5 of 8, Duke is 7 of 10. On the rebound side, the Cougars 22 of 17. Assists are 8-3 Duke. Steals 5-2 Duke. Blocks 3-2 Houston. Turnovers are 6-2 Houston. That's been killing the Cougars so far in this game. But the Blue Devils are converting on their looks at the basket. Elite of the elite. Dominating here. Points to the paint. Another key advantage here for the Blue Devils. 16-6 they lead in that category. But neither team has had any opportunity at fast breaks. That's because those are minimal and far and in between. Duke has led by as much as 12 points in this game. Houston's cut that down to within 6. So as you look at these teams, for Duke, they had the most efficient offense in the history of the KenPom database and the highest net rating of any team in this millennium. We know the Blue Devils will be talented, but nobody will see this level of dominance coming from the team starting 3 freshmen and a Tulane transfer. They're being led by the overwhelming favorite to be the #1 NBA draft pick in June. Duke has lost just once since Thanksgiving, operating extremely high level at both ends of the floor. The Blue Devils are the clear-cut favorite to win the national championship. But in all paper, there aren't many deficiencies. Top 5 in the country in both offensive and defensive efficiency. Top 10 in 2-point shooting percentage and 3-point shooting percentage. They don't turn the ball over often. They lead the ACC in rebounding percentage at both ends of the floor, and they make their free throws. But can they be beat on the most important weekend of the season? If so, how can it happen? For Houston, which is the team that they're facing now, Houston is the best defensive team that Duke is playing up against. Tops nationally in defensive efficiency. Jon Scheyer alluded to his first day news conference, but the Cougars' pressure and physicality is something that you don't replicate in practice. It's also something that coaches who lost to Houston this season struggled against. What separates this year's version of Houston from previous Kelvin Sampson coach groups is the perimeter shooting. Houston is second in the country in 3-point shooting percentage, making nearly 40% of their attempts from beyond the arc. You think of Milos Uzan, LJ Cryer, and Emmanuel Sharp, as they're all over 41% from 3-point land. Cryer had 30 points against Gonzaga in the second round. Uzan is averaging 14 points and shooting 50.6% from 3 in his last 21 games. Those two has been playing at such a high level the last 2 months of the season, said an opposing coach. Said, quote, "In crunch moments, they close games out. They find ways to make shots, and they're really able to play space and make shots. They're confident enough and tough enough, and they played a lot of close games over the last 3-4 months. They believe they're going to make the shot, make the play, and close the game out." One Big 12 coach added on to that, quote, "If they can find a way to play in short rows and go at Cooper Flagg early on, I think you tried to do that. I think Concanoople, as good as he is offensively, as efficient as he is, you put him on an island and get the right matchup, whether it's Uzan going one-on-one or LJ Cryer. You have to find ways to attack those guys in space. You have to find a way to make Cooper Flagg guard and not let him roam around the floor and impact things with his athleticism, especially from the weak side. Houston, like most Sampson teams, is elite on the offensive glass. The Cougars led the Big 12 in offensive rebound percentage. They grabbed nearly 36% of their missed shots and scoring 13.5 second chance points per game. The key is going to be the defense. Duke has not seen a defense like Houston all year long, but the Cougars haven't seen an offense at the level of Duke yet this season either. So that is huge here for the Cougars. Defense, and more defense. And for Duke, the baton has been fully passed to Jon Scheyer. For over 3 decades, Mike Krzyzewski lorded over the Final Four. He brought his Duke team here 13 times, winning 5 national titles and becoming fully intertwined with not just the program, but the university as well. Duke, Coach K. Then in 2022, after 42 seasons, he announced his retirement. And at least when it comes to the Blue Devils, all but disappeared. Despite the program being run the past 3 years by Jon Scheyer, a star on Duke's 2010 national championship team, who later spent 9 years as Coach K's assistant, and Coach K maintained not just a residence locally, but also an office on campus. The now 78-year-old has been to practice just a few times and didn't attend a single game until this season. It's all been part of his plan to step into the shadows and allow his old program to become Shire's program by avoiding the hovering presence of a legend. It is also, that many believe, a reason that Duke is not just back in the Final Four, but the favorite to clip the nets under the 38-year-old Shire. So Shire said, quote, "Coach K has given me an amazing room to be myself. I think he understands when he's around just the gravity and the people looking at him and all that. It's been like a beautiful thing, very organic and natural in Coach K and I. The fact is, we're so tight as could be. For Krzyzewski, this isn't easy. He was in control of every facet of his program through the years, seizing every last advantage. His life was basketball. Duke Blue Devils basketball. Shire said he regularly calls Coach K for advice. And Coach K also occasionally speaks to the players when he runs into them around the basketball facility, addressing the team each season. Everything else, though, is hands off. A fact that requires the discipline of a West Point grad executing a well-thought-out plan that Coach K believed would most benefit Shire and therefore most benefit Duke basketball. The challenge of succeeding a successful coach has plagued problems of franchises for years. Maintaining that greatness is always hard. Finding successive elite coaches is as well too. And it can be particularly challenging when the replacement is a young head coach's first job, learning in the spotlight of expectations. Krzyzewski, for example, won 10 and 11 games respectively in his second and third seasons. Not a lot of people pay attention. Shire is 89-21 as a head coach, providing himself both on the sidelines as well as on the recruiting trail, with freshman sensation Cooper Flagg in particular. Shire has taken the remnants of a Krzyzewski team to the Final Four. It's always worked. Just one player from the final Krzyzewski team in 2022 is a holdover. Senior center Stanley Borden. Coach K said on his Sirius XM radio show that he and his wife, Mickey, will be attending this game against Houston, which they are. He did not attend a game during Shire's first 2 seasons, but returned this season, including sitting next to actor and Duke alum Ken Jeong at a game at Las Vegas. He has not been to a March Madness game yet before this point. That the news broke as part of his own radio program is a sign that he has hardly slowed down. He's still extremely visible in national advertising campaigns and with speaking engagements. But when it comes to Duke basketball, there's no question who's in charge. Borden says that there are similarities between Coach K and Shire, but that the program has fully transitioned. So Borden said, quote, "They're both deadly competitive. I think they just have very different styles. The personalities are very different. I can see the line from one to the other. Coach Shire just spins it and says it and does it his own way. What I can say from knowing Coach Shire, both when he was associate head coach then head coach, that he's a basketball savant. He just sees the game differently. That's what has stood out across college basketball. Maybe it's the lack of Coach K sitting 2 rows behind the bench, or maybe it's because Duke plays such a brilliant brand of basketball that the team in particular stands on its own." Shire said that he has appreciated that Coach K has begun to feel comfortable coming to a couple games and hopes that he is in attendance, which he is. As of right now. So you get our guy Redbox onto here. Welcome on board. Final Four action. We saw crazy stuff happen. Florida will wait the winner of this game, but what a crazy first game between Florida and Auburn.
All right, so where is this game at? Because I just came from I have no clue what's happening right now.
So the Final Four and the National Championship will all be at San Antonio, and right now here we are at San Antonio.
What happened in the Florida game? What's going on in this game?
So the Florida game is a 34-point masterclass from Walter Clayton Jr. And so far in this game, Duke went up by as much as 12 points, but Houston's not going down without a fight. This is best offense, which is Duke, against best defense, which is Houston. A clash of titans.
Oh, we're at the half. Okay, well, okay, I could have just looked that up, I guess. So we're at the half. Duke up 6.
Mm-hmm. And Concanoople leaned away 12 points for one of the two freshman sensations on Duke. People talk about Cooper Flagg, so much so that Canoople may be another NBA caliber pick. Yeah, they're talking about.
So, Ovi, tomorrow, do you think he'll do it?
I would think so as well. I'm on the lines that he breaks the record tomorrow
I don't
against.
Think so.
You don't?
No, that's what I thought you said.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I think he's going to break the record tomorrow. I think he's riding all the confidence in the world, and he is riding it sky high. You know he wants it. Man, did he want that hat trick late in the game last night against Chicago. He was just firing clappers at Spencer Knight. But Knight, at the end, after he was rattled on his cage, and boy, hey, even though the youth movement in Chicago is moving on strong, I know that Knight has to be relieved that he didn't allow the record-breaking goal.
Now, and I don't know, I mean, what your thoughts are on this whole debate, but there's been this whole debate that I'm sure you've seen about who's the greatest. You know, it's like the LBJ versus MJ debate in the NBA. And this one, of course, is Wayne Gretzky, the Canadian / may as well be American sellout, versus Alexander Ovechkin.
In terms of goal scorers, so if we're comparing the two eras, you know, offense in the 80s was heavy. There was a lot of offense in the 80s. That goal scoring was at an all-time high. Then you get to the dead puck era in which OV came in and through. 2006, he made an immediate impact. No matter which era he's in, Ovechkin has delivered time and time again, even in the dead puck era. And in 2008, mind you, OV totaled 65 goals in an era in which it was thought to be the dead puck era. Not a lot of offense. Games change over time. Goaltending was paramount in the late 2000s, early 2010s. And OV, between the dead puck era and this current era, which prioritizes offense, which is headlined by superstars like McDavid, McKinnon, Matthews, you get the rest. OV has continued to thrive in the goal sheets, which I rest my case for OV being the greatest goal scorer of all time.
I agree. I 100% agree. Also, I'm just very pissed at Gretzky for the way he's been acting recently, and like, he seems very comfortable being a citizen of the USA in this critical moment for Canada. Without trying to make it too political, he's a big fan of the big man in the White House right now, and he hasn't denounced him. So you know what? I'm all for Ovi. I hope Ovi absolutely obliterates his record, and I hope no one ever beats Ovi's record just on that alone.
It's crazy to think that 3 Gretzky records in a span of a year would all be broken. We saw a 1 Gretzky record get broken last year with McDavid saying the all-time assist record in a single playoff year. Then Sidney Crosby with the most point-per-game seasons in NHL history at 20. And now tomorrow, we could see the all-time goals record being broken by way of Ovi scoring number 895. He's just one away from hockey immortality. And we can all say that he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Whether or not the Capitals win the Stanley Cup this year is yet to be known. But a Stanley Cup to go with the all-time goals record for Ovi, even sweeter.
Now, Ovi is... How old is Ovi?
39 years old.
Do you think he can reach the 1,000 mark?
If he plays for a couple more seasons, that is a possibility. I don't know if he reaches the 1,000 mark, but this is that was something that I never even thought of. I thought 900 would be realistic at this current rate, but 1,000, I haven't even thought of that. I don't know if he'll play to 1,000, but it's up to him to decide.
I mean, I think if you gotta try for it, because 900, I mean, 900 would be like 10 games into next season at the very least. Because this is overall. This is not regular season, right?
This is regular season, period.
Oh. So if it's regular season, well, that's a little more complicated. But like, let's say he's probably about 1/5 of the way through next season. He reaches 900. Easy.
That's what I think.
You know, I don't see Ovi retiring at the end of this season. Especially if the Capitals don't get a cup. If they do get a cup, okay, I see it, maybe. But...
Oh, the East is loaded, that is for sure, with Florida, Tampa, Toronto. You got Carolina in Washington's own division vying for a cup.
That's true.
Oh, seeing the highlights of the first half of this game, Duke leading 34-28, but of course, main headline tomorrow is the record, which unfortunately, because of this, I can no longer do the women's national championship game between UConn and South Carolina. But best of luck to the ladies over there between UConn and South Carolina.
No. What time is the women's national championship?
3 in the afternoon Eastern.
Well, because the men's game is on Monday, right?
Yeah, Monday night.
Wait, so the Capitals game is at 12:30.
12:30.
I mean, you could do the Capitals game and then just move straight into the women's.
Don't encourage me.
Oh. I mean, I'm not wrong. Like it is. I mean, if the Capitals game, just move into, just have preparations for both games ready, and then move into the women's game when the Capitals game is over.
Oh.
You'd only miss what, the first quarter?
Probably. Well, the game might end at 3 o'clock Eastern time, but nonetheless, if it overlaps, then probably a side-by-side feat of that. But it should be a clash of two legendary head coaches.
Bro, I have a paper to write tomorrow, but you best believe if I don't see you doing the women's national championship tomorrow, I will be spam calling you on Discord until you do it.
Oh my goodness. And here we go. You're going to give my voice a test here, aren't you?
Something like that. You've done longer commentaries before. You'll be fine. 5.5 hours ain't nothing for you.
Well, then again, John and I did some double overtime games in the Stanley Cup playoffs before. Did that last year between Dallas and Colorado in Game 6.
Also, like, you've got commercial breaks, so you can rest during those.
Yep. Here we go. Second half with Duke moving left to right. 12 field goals made in the first half, and immediately, Common Malawak, an offensive dynamo who explodes like dynamite at the basket.
And this is where I shut up because I have no idea about any of this.
In first half scoring, in the first 16:30, Houston has scored 15 points in the first 16:30, but in the last 3:30 of the first half, they scored 13 points. They were on a heater to end the first half. Can it continue on here in the second half? Momentum can change on a dime here. And we do have, I believe, a foul here. It's against Duke. It's the first one. And it's going to be Tyrese Proctor getting the foul against him. And Kelvin Sampson watches onwards here on the Cougars bench. So 33 seconds in, does Houston garner some momentum towards their side? Duke already at the first basket of the game, and that's answered back by LJ Cryer. Deep shot, nailed it from Humble. 5 points the difference here as Zion James drops back for a flag, and here's Proctor. From free, Houston started 2 of 8. They have made their next 4 in response. Left side, James looks for a shift past Uzan. Uzan still sticking with him. Malawa trying to screen. He opens up, and then Flagg with 6. Backs up. Flagg trying to look for the right side. He slips, picks it back up, airballs it. Well, this one rolled out. James almost had one. Hat close to extending it to 7. Cryer from the right wing moves up. Roberts pickpocketed. His slam is missed. Roberts calling for a foul. He will not get his wish. Flagg delivers for James. Right corner free. Swish. 8-point lead restored here for the Blue Devils after no foul was called on the opposite end. And James with his first 3 points, the Tulane transfer, chiming in here at San Antonio. Shifting over left side now and then to the right hash is Uzan. Banked it off the glass. Houston with some life here in the second half. Can they pull off a comeback here on the Blue Devils? They trail by 12 points here earlier in the game here. Clash of Titans between best offense and best defense. Here is Concanupal, who shifts over, frees up Malawak, who finds approaching James. The flush down the middle. The feed from Malawak. And he has come alive here in the opening 3 minutes of the second half. 9 assists for the Blue Devils. Shifting over left and then backing up. It is Cryer, who shifts and moves up. Cryer, shake and bake, deliver right side. Back to Cryer, lofts one, and delivers. The sharp shooting ability of the Houston Cougars. LJ Cryer with 18 on 5 threes. People talk about how 3-point shooting has galvanized this Houston team. Someone said that when it comes to NBA and college basketball comparisons, some can say that the Houston Cougars, college basketball equivalent of the Boston Celtics, is Flagg short on his shot, but is saved inside by Canupo just before it got out of bounds. Proctor can't hit it. Malawak, car crash at the paint. And the officials swallow up their whistles. They'll let them play onwards. Uzan. Hughes just made 3 of their first 4 shots of this half. Duke is 3 of 6 in this half so far. And that bounced off the left leg, I believe, of Jawan Roberts, and Kelvin Sampson is saying, "What are you doing?" But a nice cut for Zion James off the feed from Malawak to the inside. Cryer got himself open. The comparisons between the Cougars and the Celtics being valid, considering the Celtics averaged the most 3-point shots per game of any NBA team this season. In fact, they just set the record for most 3-point shots this season. And Flagg, this kid's on fire. And 1. He moves inside off the spin and turn off of Milos Uzan. Hooks one inside. Gets the contact from the impending Houston players on the paint. And he'll shoot a free throw. The consensus best player in the NCAA, who averages 18.9 points per game, 7.5 rebounds per game, 4.2 assists per game, 1.4 steals per game, and 1.3 blocks per game on the season. His and 1 is delivered. Emmanuel Sharp will inbound it. This kid's going to be something else in the NBA. LJ Cryer has as many points as the rest of the Houston team, 18. Houston is 6 of 24 shooting from players not named LJ Cryer. They'll need everyone else to deliver, including Milos Uzan, who has been hot from free. He's open for the point. But James is watching him. The hook could have rolled this one in, but it's saved inside and it bounces out onto the right wing side. Kept inside by the Cougs. That's the 4-minute mark of this half, with James setting the one-on-one edge. Now the double on Roberts. Inside Francis! The two-handed slam to dunk it inside. That's his first make of this game on a jackhammer. Back the other way come the Blue Devils, with James setting up for the point. And then with Uzan watching him, James spins, turns, too far. Tries to get his own rebound back, which he does. James, flushed out left wing for Proctor. Proctor moves inside, flushes out for Flagg, right wing. Yes, sir! Cooper Flagg delivers.
And the Raptors flopped on getting Cooper Flagg. Of course we did, because, you know.
The live game updates here in the meantime as we have Milos Uzan, who is watched by Tyrese Proctor, then switches back on the right side. Uzan delivers on for the left for Jawan Roberts. On the left hash, hooks one inside. It's a 7-point difference now. For the near side as James goes back the other way. Back and forth here at San Antonio we go. Almost looked to be a foul away for the play. Officials keep their whistle swallowed. Canupo knocked one down all the way from the Neuse River. Nearly 6 minutes gone in this second half. Canupo bringing the lead up to 10 here for the Blue Devils. 14.4 points per game in this tournament. He averages 15. He has 15 so far on this game. Uzan back and forth. He's back the ball all the way to the logo. Houston 9-11 shooting after starting off 5-25. He loses his man and always this one off the window. Back and forth with punch counter punch here at San Antonio. So far he has 7 points. And Houston 6 of 8 shooting here in this half. Duke is 6 of 11. Alley-oop inside Malawak. The Duke bench was excited for that one. Here's James on the free. That bounced too far. Rebound is up. And a car crash at the free throw line with James at the center of it. He is helped up onto his feet. But back and forth here at San Antonio. Headed to break with Duke leading 50-42. So as is mentioned with live game updates, we're also looking at the playoff standings around the NBA and NHL. The Eastern Conference field, the NBA is set. The final teams have clinched, that being the Milwaukee Bucks at a playoff spot, the Atlanta Hawks at a play-in spot. So the field as of right now on the East goes like this in the NBA. Cavaliers, Celtics, Knicks, Pacers, Bucks, Pistons, Magic, Hawks, Bulls, Heat, in that order in the NBA as of right now. Top 6 make the playoffs outright. Bottom 4 onto the play-in tournament. Only 2 teams in the West have clinched, the Thunder and the Rockets. Meanwhile, in the NHL, the playoff field is like this. In the Eastern Conference, the Lightning and Maple Leafs have clinched. The Maple Leafs clinched before the Lightning. The Panthers have made it to the dance. Capitals the first team to clinch a playoff spot. Carolina also clinched. The Devils, Senators, and Canadiens holding on to playoff spots. The Rangers are 4 points behind. Red Wings are 6 points behind. Blue Jackets 6 points behind. Still in the chase. The first 2 teams eliminated from the Eastern Conference chase are the Flyers and the Boston Bruins. The Bruins missed the playoffs for the first time in 9 years. In the West, the main 3 Central Division teams have clinched. The Jets, Stars, and Avalanche. The Golden Knights have clinched. And the 5th team eliminated in the Western Conference chase is the Ducks. Kings, Oilers, Blues, and Wild holding on to playoff spots. Flames, Canucks, and Utah still in the chase. But the Wild are slipping. And they're not exactly looking good. The Blues are on a 12-game winning streak right now. That is a new franchise record, by the way. The 12 straight wins. And Duke's basketball IQ off the charts here. They're thriving here all around. Tomorrow is the Women's March Madness National Championship. And on the fan cam, the fans are loving it on for the sidelines. Duke students and Houston students watching proudly. Cooper Flagg, unreal. And Houston's fans want to say, moving up and around here. It's a quicker trip from the city of Houston as it is from the city of Durham. But here, you want to know how it's going to all pay out in the end. 16 points for Flagg. He has come alive here in this second half with 4 rebounds. The Blue Devils are going to inbound, and Javier Francis to watch. Knuppel is closed up. One-on-one coverage at the right side. Knuppel moves up, finds James, backdoor, and lays it in. Outstanding chemistry between the Blue Devils as Houston inbounds it in. 13 assists for the Blue Devils as opposed to the Cougars 6. 24-12 at the point to the paint advantage in favor of Duke. It's brought back on for the point, and here's Francis. On the left wing, it's Cryer. LJ Cryer will look. Houston's made their last 3 shots. Cryer puts it up. Hand check on the way at the left side. Intended for Jawan Roberts. The ball keeps moving around as James puts one up and through. How's about this? For craftiness. Milos Uzan to inbound us in. He said from Bill. He heard it from Bill Raftery. Major onions. Here is Cryer. Cryer looks back, shifts around Flagg. He spins, defers over to Malik Wilson. Wilson intercepted on the pass back. Here's Flagg, coast to coast. He's fouled. Ball is short, but he'll shoot 2 free throws as the Duke bench is all thrilled about him going to the line. He'll get the free throws here. Do remember this Duke bench is deep. Isaiah Evans, Caleb Foster, Mason Gillis, Patrick Nongbat, and Malik Brown, who can all come off the bench. If Flagg will shoot the first one momentarily. All the way. Got it. 7 minutes and 22 seconds into this second half. Duke trying to meet the Florida Gators in the national championship. The Blue Devils last won in 2015. Second shot is good. In 2015, that was with a freshman, Grayson Allen. Allen was teammates with Jason Tatum in his junior year. Tatum is one of the superstars in the NBA right now, coming off an NBA championship with them last season. Back at the logo is LJ Cryer, who opens up space on the right side for Uzan. Uzan loses his man Flagg, but Flagg quickly gets back. That's Knuppel, actually. The shift with Brown on him. Defense on defense as it's Uzan, mid-range shot. Couldn't deliver this one, it bounces through over to Tyrese Proctor. Proctor from the left wing, fighting Flagg immediately. Flagg. 8 minutes deep into the second half. Flagg trying to lose his man, blowing by him. His layup shanked, but a foul. And more free throws coming for him. And Cooper Flagg tried to make his case for being the first overall pick. It may have already solidified that. We'll return in just a moment. back here at San Antonio with Duke leading by 12. They can make it a 14-point game here with 2 free throws from Cooper Flagg. He's been electric in this tournament. And what else is there to say except that he is dynamite? All the praise in the world and all the hype in the world. He can end up with the first overall pick on the draft. He's labeled as a sensation. For the way, 2 blocks and 2 steals. He has 18 points so far. 4 rebounds and 4 assists. His first shot. Perfect. It's up to a 13-point lead here. Houston trying to mount a comeback. And Florida did erase a 9-point deficit with 3 minutes left on Texas Tech to win. Second one's good. Houston wanting to set up. But Zion James is getting back on defense, watching Milos Uzan. Uzan trying to blow by, but James, with his toughness, right onto him. Francis, Uzan, and Tugler are all in foul trouble, 3 each. Rebound grabbed up by Flagg, but the ball is loose and Houston keeps alive. Right wing free on the way. Big shot. So as I listen out the foul trouble, it was Jawan Roberts who lifts off at the right wing side and cuts it to a 50-11. 56-45 the lead here for Duke as it's set up for Knuppel. 19 field goals, 13 assists, 2 turnovers. Efficiency for the Blue Devils. For the double, this gets tipped up. Malik Brown is forced out. A fake from Proctor. He moves up. Lays it out. Blocked. The rebound hit the rim. And Houston will get it back. Here they come moving up for the far side. And now setting up for Cryer. Over at the logo as he looks over left side. And now he'll look again. Screen from Uzad gets a switch for Brown. Cryer gets 2 screens. And now the mid-range shot is short. The rebound is fought for. And the Cougars look to get it back. And they come up empty-handed. The Blue Devils go back with Flagg. Flagg near side. Puts one up off the glass. The bodies piling up on one end. Flagg delivers on the other end. 22 for Flagg. Trying to make his statement and plant the flag. Uzan to Sharp. Sharp will look up front as Cryer sets up at the right wing. LJ Cryer moves up. Set up at the right hash and then delivers it back over to Milos Uzan. Uzan with 5. Fakes out Knuppel. Uzan with the hook. Bounced up and grabbed by Knuppel. Duke can increase their lead to 15 points here. Past the halfway mark in the second half. Looking to coast this one home on the best defensive team in the nation. A lot's changed between these two. Houston's no slouches. Anything can happen. From the logo as Knuppel will move up onto the left wing as Proctor goes back for Knuppel. Knuppel draws the double. And Brown pickpocketed. And back comes Houston with Uzan. Lift off here. Missed on the free. James picks it up. And then moving back the other way, Houston retreats back to the defensive end. James. The shake and bake on the right wing. Rejected. But here comes Knuppel on the left corner. His free. Short. And the rebound is grabbed. And a whistle blows for an injured Blue Devil. That is James, who is very slow to get up. The training staff comes in to check in on him as he was blocked hard. No foul was called as he got smacked to his head and landed down viciously. Checked his hip and, oh my goodness. He hit the hardwood very hard. And the transfers they got, they're the best players in their respective teams, by the way. James went over from Tulane. He checks up and out. We're going to get an official review here for a foul on this play. They are going to take a look for a potential foul. That was quick. They have ruled it incidental contact. And It was incidental contact. Nothing in there was intentional. It's just a basketball play trying to block the basketball for the entire way. So that could have been bad news for Houston, and they didn't need that. They did a good job defending. Zion James checks out. He's getting looked at for anything of a head injury. It's Mason Gillis will check in. He's a Purdue transfer, and Terrence Arsenault adds into the lineup. Emmanuel Sharp back in. This over-aggressiveness of this Houston team could bite defensively, but they kept their composure all throughout. 9:10 to go in the second half. Emmanuel Sharp will deliver for Uzan. From free, Houston is 8 of 15. From 2, they're 8 of 29. Their bread and butter's been the 3-point shot, and they want to go back to that. LJ Cryer will move left. He is doubled up as Duke is taking every option away. Right corner, the free on the way, short, and the rebound's grabbed by Knuppel. Duke has made some adjustments in doubling up Cryer, so he has less room to shoot, and as options taken away, his visibility is limited. Knuppel, 15 points, 7 rebounds. He's been outstanding tonight. Give and go for Gillis, with Knuppel opening up. Back to Gillis. Doesn't settle for the free. A fake step by Proctor as he shakes and bakes. Tyrese Proctor moves up. Oh, he collides with the basketball pole a little bit hard there, and the foul is going to be called. Houston's going to be aggressive. You want to get to the free throw line for as much shots as possible, as Proctor's going to shoot 2. He has 4 points already. This one bounced 3 times off the rim, and it stayed out. And Jawan Roberts checks back in to get, Redbox back inside. So,
yeah, I got a phone call that lasted about 40 minutes longer than I hoped it would, and I'm back now.
All right, good to have you back in here. As Proctor, he sings the second one. John Shire will want to get his substitutions back in. Zion James, who collided with the basketball court hard previously, but they ruled it incidental contact, and it was the correct call. It was incidental contact. The play was that Houston was trying to block the basketball, but it almost looked hard onto the basketball court. Houston's missed 7 of their last 8 shots, trying to put an end to this dry spell. Cryer. Oh, wow! A running jumper, and they're not going to count this one. They are going to count this one, but it's an injured Cougar as Joseph Tugler, one of the better defenders in the NCAA, does get back up immediately. So the basket will count. The foul is after the play. So we will step away for the moment. Duke leads 59-48. So this is something that I have to point out because our other hockey friend Ian, this is mentioning his St. Louis Blues. They are on a 12-game winning streak, which is their longest in franchise history. They have just taken down the Colorado Avalanche 5-4. What a run it's been for the Blues. One could say again, perhaps they can play Gloria again. Who knows? A goal and 3 assists from Robert Thomas. 2 from Zach Bolduc, who has been outstanding this season for St. Louis. 18 goals on the year for Bolduc. He's an emerging young star for St. Louis, and one of the core faces of this current iteration. And despite the Bruins beating the Hurricanes 5-1, the Bruins have been eliminated from playoff contention for the first time in 9 years.
Let's go. The Bruins won't be in the playoffs. That's amazing.
it still feels weird seeing the Bruins outside the playoff picture, but, you know...
I think it feels perfect.
It's sort of that moment in which it's the dragon that teams really want to slay just dies of old age.
The Bruins won't be in the playoffs, but...
No.
Amazing.
Pyrrhic victories for Jeremy Swayman and David Pastrnak, as Swayman had 39 saves and Pastrnak had a hat trick. And to make things better for Leafs fans like you, Owen, it's a 5-0 win for Toronto over the Blue Jackets. Nick Robertson, William Nylander each have 2 on the night. And a shutout for Anthony Stolarz. His 27 saves as such. And that shutout victory for the Leafs, who are contending for an Atlantic Division title. So we're looking to get back into this game. And the Florida Panthers are close to making the playoffs. They don't want to fall out the free seed in the Atlantic. They're looking to defend their title. So far in the Final Four, Houston in their 7th Final Four appearance, Duke the 18th time. And Walter Clayton Jr. for Florida delivered a 34-point masterclass.
Oh.
Wow, so during the timeout, it was an escalated foul as Mason Gillis. That's dirty. There's no way you can use your arm as a weapon and smack someone in the face. That is dirty. So they have elevated this to a flagrant foul. The free-pointer will count. First shot's good. So no matter what happens on the second shot on the free throws, well, they have called Gillis for a technical foul. They have elevated it to a tech. So Houston will shoot 2 free throws and retain possession. Short on the second one for LJ Cryer, but they will keep the ball.
So what does that make the score?
So the score is 59-49 after Cryer made 1 of 2 free throws. That's not been their strongest suit on the night, but they need points in many ways as they can go by. Three-pointers is their ideal way of going with it. Back onto the logo is Cryer. He has been sharp from free along with Uzan. And sharp as well. No pun intended. Cryer will shake and bake on Canupo. Lobs one up and takes it. Made it a 3-point play as Milos Uzan, who's watching from the bench, is loving it. Houston is one of the top teams in the country at 3-point shooting rate. And the best defensive team in the nation. Blowing by on the left side, the layup is smoked as it went off the rim. Twice, that is. That left side the rim. Cryer to shake. Cryer to bake. Cryer lost it. Oh, he almost had a shake and bake three-pointer, but the ball disagreed with him. He had Concanupo on his trail, and Cryer is none too pleased about it. Galvin Sampson.
I couldn't imagine. He had a real chance there to make something happen, and he got denied. That was great.
Talk about bad luck. That's the 9th turnover that Houston's made in this game, but they're still in a position to win this. Duke has not scored in the last 3:25. No field goals. Left wing free on the way. Almost was a wedgie. And a foul on the loose ball.
And they've cut it to within 8, but is that enough?
Oh, well, of course, that's a line from TV off by Kendrick Lamar. Do. It's not enough. It's been turned into a meme nowadays. On for the Farsighters, Emmanuel Sharp, one of 3 players on Houston's team that's made over 40% of their 3-pointers. Cryer draws a double, then moves up front on the left wing for Tugler, and now back for Cryer. This time, single coverage, long free, bounces up, and it's stayed out. James fights for it. He fought for that rebound and snagged it away from the Cougars. He is slowing down the pace. Duke usually operates at a fast pace, and now the Blue Devils will call timeout. seeing their momentum break apart. We'll see how John Shire handles this with 6:26 to go in the half. 59-51. We'll step away. And so far, checking back onto our NHL brothers all around. So as the Capitals take the day out preparing for tomorrow afternoon's clash, the Anaheim Ducks have just been recently eliminated from playoff contention. They'll miss for the 7th straight year. Vancouver trying to stay alive as much as possible. And they exploded for a 5-goal first period. And Elias Pettersson, the defenseman, gets his first career NHL goal. So there's one Elias Pettersson who can score. Well, Marcus Pettersson has an assist in that game, a secondary one on Dakota Joshua. Man, a 5-goal first period. Imagine. And it seems the Los Angeles Kings, if they draw another first round meeting with the Edmonton Oilers, some can imagine that the Kings will get home ice advantage this time around. A shutout for Darcy Kemper, 27 of 27. Kevin Fiala, Andrei Kuzmenko, and Trevor Lewis, the goals. If Fiala getting his 30th of the season, and the Buffalo Sabres on the brink of elimination. They hand the Lightning a shootout loss, 3-2, with Jack Quinn and Alex Tuch nailing the shootout winners. And a 22-save performance for James Reimer. And the Montreal Canadiens knock off Philadelphia from playoff contention with a 3-2 regulation win. They ride a 4-game winning streak. All 3 of their goals for Montreal have come in the third period. The winner being a shorty from Nick Suzuki. That's got to feel sweet for Les Canadiens as they're looking to make the playoffs for the first time since their surprise Stanley Cup run in 2021. But there are no empty seats this time around here in Montreal. It's going to be a capacity crowd should they make it to the playoffs. And Montreal is going to be happy to see them there no matter who they face in the first round. All right, back here. 12-2, Duke leads in points off of turnovers. Houston has the most Final Four appearances without a championship with 6. Illinois and Oklahoma lead them are tied for second right behind at 5 each. This is Houston's 7th Final Four appearance without a championship. That could change this year, but as people talk about Jim Nantz and Mike Krzyzewski in attendance, Hakeem Olajuwon is also in attendance, seeking the first national championship appearance since 1984. And the dream led them to there. He later led the Houston Rockets to 2 NBA championships, 94-95. A spin for Flagg. In and out. And grabbing the rebound are the Cougars with 6:10 to play. Do they fire away from free? Or do they settle for a mid-range shot? Hand off to Sharp on the logo. Set back for Cryer. Cryer on the right, then moving up. Set up for cutting Roberts. Reverse layup. Banked in. And it's within 6. Jawan Roberts leading the charge here for the Cougs. Jay Cool leading the way. Houston's on an 8-0 run in the last 2:18 and counting. Knuppel. Flagg. He sets up right side for Knuppel again. Doubled. Kicked out left side. Proctor. And now moving up is Malawak. He lost it. And it sails out. Zion James lost the ball. And it went out of the field of play. Houston will get a chance to cut it within 1 possession. It went off his leg. The Blue Devils seeing a 14-point lead in danger with 5:25 left. Put up or shut up here for both teams. Who prevails? The veteran laden squad of Kelvin Sampsons or the young, talented squad of John Shires? Inside the layup. Second effort doesn't go. A third try. Oh, hard contact on Joseph Togler. He was injured earlier this game, but he will go to the line with 5:10 to go. Colin Malawak And Zion James in the field of play as this bounced up and through. And Olajuwon saying, what the heck happened? So that's 3 fouls on Olajuwon. He's going to sub out. Malik Brown comes in. Yozan fakes the inbounds pass. He's going to go all the way down through to the logo. A tough layup bounces up to tip in. Houston's within 4. 5 minutes to go. And the crowd here in San Antonio is loving it. Duke has not hit a field goal in their last 5.5 plus minutes. Their players have to come through in the clutch. May comes on with Proctor. Flagg passes up on the open free. He'll drive down the left side. Fired a mid-range shot. Off the window and stayed out. Loose ball foul. Again, Tugler was in the middle of it. It's going to be Malik Brown, the guy who replaced Common Malawiak, called for the foul. Already Duke backs against the wall. And Malik Brown getting a foul against him on the drive is Emmanuel Sharp. But the second effort tip in. Inside from Tugler to make this a 4-point game. It's Houston on a 10-0 run. Duke led by 14 points. On the right wing, Houston trying to complete the comeback. They played from behind for most of this game. Moving up on the left hash. It's kicked out to Cryer. LJ Cryer wanting to go out on a high note to win it in Houston their first ever national championship in program history. Here's Cryer from the free throw line. Can't deliver. Flagg one-handing this rebound with 4 minutes left.
And they've cut it to within 4.
That is the situation for Houston, but Duke is slowing the pace down here. They're comfortable slowing the pace down. And while Houston is one of the slowest paced teams in the nation, Duke can't play at any pace. Here's Proctor driving to the basket. He tried to lay it, but he is fouled on the entry with 3:44. This is not what you want to do if you're Houston, to get one of Duke's shooters to the free throw line. It's 59-55. Duke leads with a 3:44 left when we return. That's air. Yeah, on the commercials, all these Capital One commercials have me wondering who would end up with the higher free throw percentage between Capital One bank guy or Charles Barkley. That's a funny question to ponder. Oh.
Wow.
Oh. I am shocked to see the Pittsburgh Penguins beating the Dallas Stars 5-3 earlier today, but it was a Sidney Crosby hat trick that set it up.
What?
Trying to get back into the action. All right. So we're seeing Dante DiVincenzo with his college best friends, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges, and one other advertisement. Well, we've had matching hat tricks in that Penguin Stars game. One by Crosby, the other by Yevgeny Dadonov, who had the only 3 goals for Dallas in that game. And the Devils win 4-0 over the Rangers. That sends the Lightning to the playoffs. But by 2-goal effort from Timo Meier, Jacob Markstrom with 26 saves, and a shorthanded goal from Jesper Bratt. Meier is thriving here in New Jersey as a power play goal. And Ottawa beats Florida 3-0 to further cement themselves into wild card 1 position, and Tom Forsberg gets his 3rd shutout of the year. I'm still in disbelief that of all teams to sweep the Florida Panthers in a regular season series, it would be the Montreal Canadiens winning all 4 games against the Panthers in a regular season series. Oh. Florida's in the midst of a Canadian road trip in the eastern side of Canada. they lost all 3 games against all 3 Eastern Canada teams. The most notable such being that 3-2 losses to both the Canadiens and the Maple Leafs. The one against Montreal, they led with 9 seconds left in regulation. They lost in overtime, as Nick Suzuki took matters into his own hands. But against Toronto, no such late game heroics were needed. Toronto dictated play all throughout. On the way to a 3-2 finish, as they prevented any last-second looks for the Panthers. But the Craig Berube effect on full display for Toronto. They're playing like a team that is built for playoff hockey, and it's showing. And Tyrese Proctor, he will shoot 2 shots. And throughout the tournament, he has made half of his free throws, despite averaging 68.6% from the line shooting-wise. Free throw shooting woes have been well documented for Proctor, the veteran leader. Made the first one. It's up to a 5-point lead, but Houston trying to mount the comeback. The Duke crowd staying quiet for when Proctor is shooting. That's the case with all of their free throw shooters. Second one is good. And the Duke bench on their feet applauding Proctor. Duke has spent 31 minutes and 30 seconds with the lead. Houston has not led for much of this game. They have not led in the second half. In this half, though, they're shooting 11 of 24. Inside is Roberts. Roberts spins, turns, double rim. This one swatted out. And it will be Duke ball. 3:23 to play. Setting up for a wild finish. Which one of these two teams will pull through in the clutch? But a clutch grab by it was Joseph Tugler with the last touch. Duke has not had a field goal in the last 7+ minutes. They need to make a clutch shot. James will find Proctor. Tyrese Proctor moves up front and is kicked out. Here's Flagg, right corner 3. Bank shot! Cooper Flagg! He is Himothy! 25 points on the night with his 3rd 3-pointer of the match. Houston backs against the wall now with Duke in front by 9 points. Backed up at the logo is Cryer. He's been and the team's best sharpshooter on Houston. Step back. Thought about the free, defers over to Uzan. Uzan with 3, with 2. Puts one up. Block. Well, partially, but an offensive rebound off the rim. Cryer tries one. Too far. A rush for the ball. Cryer picks up his own rebound. Tugler. Tugler moves inside. Spins, turns. Rejected on a vicious swat by Cooper Flagg. He went up on an elevator sky high, well above the Appalachian Mountains. His kid. That's his 3rd block tonight. To add on to an effort that has 25 points, 7 rebounds, 3 blocks. There's nothing else to say about him. Houston as a team has 5 blocks, deep inbound. And the Cougars will have to start from their own end. And take it across as Manny Sharp. Emmanuel Sharp moves over at the point. Then blowing right by, he lays this one in. 7-point game with 2:02 to play. Now, if you're Houston, do you think about fouling here? Sharp is 3 of 12 shooting in this game. Houston's not fouling so far.
Come on.
Backed up at the logo is Flagg. Here's Malik Brown, who delivers for James. James trying to find options. Immediately for Proctor. Proctor driving. He lost it. Houston will have a chance here, down by 7. As Proctor went a little too hard on the ball and just lost the handle. Houston's not calling a timeout so far. They have 9 turnovers. That's Duke's 6th turnover. Houston trying to pull off a miracle. Oh, a bump at the arc with 1:27 Malik Brown called for the foul. He tried to reach in, but Sharp looked to be running right into Brown. And so we'll have to settle for free throws here. It is 1-1 for Sharp, looking to get back into this game. 87.6% shooter here is Sharp. Is he the sharpshooter as is his namesake? Hits the first one, so he'll get another life. 1:27 to go here in this second half. Houston trying to pull off a miracle as Common Malawak checks back in. Overtime could be a possibility. Houston is not dead yet. Nothing's over until they say it is over. Sharp delivers another one, sinks it. And immediately a timeout called by Kelvin Sampson. 5 points is the difference here with 1:27. Do we see an all royal blue appearance? Or is it going to be blue versus red in the national championship? Well, I've yet to find out. So, do-overs. So Houston, they'll need defense to pull through if they want to steal the win away from Duke. Duke, they just need to play their game.
Come on, let's make this finish exciting at least.
At the very least, perhaps punch, counter punch. That's going to be in for an exciting finish. Of course, Duke is, as many teams say, a juggernaut. They usually... Go ahead. So Duke, they usually beat teams into submission. But not tonight. Houston has forced them into a slower pace of play. But Duke is comfortable with that. The Houston, of course, they still have their backs against the wall with 87 seconds to go. Zion James looking to go for an inbound as Knuppel wants to get open. And seeing no options, John Shire will use his timeout. So once again, we go to another break. Up by 5. The Houston's guards, they see a length disadvantage against them, but they're not fazed by it. LJ Cryer, Emmanuel Sharp, Milos Uzan being their key free sharpshooters. So far, Flagg with 25, Knuppel 15. In the first half, it was Knuppel leading the charge. In the second half, it was Flagg. And Cooper Flagg leading through the way. For Houston, it is LJ Cryer with 24. Sharp with 11 points. See if Knuppel and company can finish this one strong. 1 timeout left for the Blue Devils. 2 left for the Cougars. Houston does have the timeouts with them. And it's inbound. Oh, this bounced out. There's going to be a foul against Houston off the inbound after the pass that went off of Flagg. And so he'll shoot 1-1. Joseph Tugler was coming over to try to slow down Flagg. But that prevented him a clean look at the ball. And could not firmly grasp it. 83.4 free throw shooting percentage for Flagg. This will be 1-1 for him. Which means if he sinks one, he'll get another chance. Each team with 7 fouls. Houston doesn't need to foul. Now these next few sequences, the Blue Devils try to advance to the national championship game. For the first time in 10 years. Flagg bounces the first one in. Coach K in the building. And he looks like he is still coaching on the sidelines, nonetheless. So the same stern expression. Flagg with the second one. Good. And so that same expression for Coach K on the sidelines. Already 19 second half points for Flagg, which is more than what Knuppel has overall. Inside, the layup bounces up and out. The putback! That's a mean mug from Joseph Toker, but this is going to be waved off. And it will instead be free throws here. 2 shots for Emmanuel Sharp. It's once again Malawiak in the center of the foul. Emmanuel Sharp shooting 2. It's a shooting foul. As Malawiak, I just want to wait. The foul was before the mean mug. Malawiak is 1 foul away from getting tossed. First shot is up and good. It just rattled in. It's a 6-point game here in San Antonio. Just 2 years ago, the Final Four and National Championship were in Houston. Now it's at the other side of I-10. Second shot, good. It's a 5-point game. Don't need a foul here. You just need to get a defensive stop. Oh, is that... That's a technical. Zion James tried to inbound it, but he tried to poke the ball away on the inbound attempt. The technical is for an inbound. The technical foul is that Tugler committed an inbound violation. You cannot do that. It's a technical foul, and so it will be free throws for Duke, and they keep the ball. They will check it, however, and Kelvin Sampson cannot believe that. You cannot, in any circumstances, hand check the ball away when the passer trying to inbound the ball is looking for one of his options. Mental errors. You cannot do that. Yeah, the ball was knocked away when James was trying to inbound. You cannot do that. What a mistake by the Cougars. And Tugler knows this as well, that he committed a ginormous mistake.
And Duke being up 5, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's that tight of a game. So the call being made? They have just confirmed the technical foul. You cannot do that in a game as tight as this one. How? You just... I'm sorry. But in a moment like this where you need a clutch bucket, that's inexcusable. Now Concanoople will shoot 2, and the Blue Devils get to keep the ball. First shot, good. It's these errors. And now, was it ruled 1 free throw? They had actually said 1 free throw, so a Class A technical foul with Canoople shooting it. He sinks it. So it's a 6-point game here, and getting open is Canoople, with Houston trying to crowd the Blue Devils. Now moving up for the far side is James, and just gets it across. Zion James. And Duke is putting as much clock as possible here. Back turn as James looks right. James. A switch now. Moving over to Flagg. Canoople. Canoople to layup. Rejected. And it lands with the Cougars of 45. Pressure now for the Cougars. They need to shoot now and in a hurry. They just get the pass away before a turnover. Sharp gets it back. He fakes. He fires. Yes, sir! Emmanuel Sharp with a sharp shooting bomb. Timeout Houston as they're within 3. The slip and scream of Uzan getting the feed towards him. And now all Houston needs to do is foul, hope that Duke misses both free throws, and then tie the game up.
Damn, man, I didn't even think that was going to happen. Look, literally 10 minutes ago, like Duke was going to run away with the victory. Now, not so.
Oh, what a game this is. These two games, And even though for people thinking that this March Madness has been a lack of madness, these two Final Four games, chef's kiss. This is a reason why I love March Madness. You have tight games, you have the unexpected, you have the unpredictable. And nobody could have thought that 4 number 1 seeds would make the Final Four again. There were people who had Alabama, St. John's in their brackets, Michigan State in their brackets, maybe in Texas Tech in their brackets, and all throughout Tennessee. You could consider them as well as a potential sleeper in this department as a 2 seed, and also sleepers who were looking to get a run. Oh. What a ride it's been for the Cougars and the Blue Devils. It's a 3-point game here. 67-64. Duke leads. And Houston needs to foul Duke here. And now, in the midst of this, they're granting Duke an inbound with Houston defending. Duke trying to find options. Ball knocked away by Houston off the inbound. So Duke will try again. The Blue Devils were rushed on the inbound, and so they'll try again as Houston was blitzing every inbounding option. And now a whistle as they're trying to check the clock. Calvin Sampson thought that there was a 5-second count, so the officials are going to check the clock to see if Duke violate the 5-second rule. So the officials huddle up. So Zion James was inbounding. The ball was knocked out of bounds, but they're going to see if the 5-second rule was violated. So we'll see if the combination was there. Now if we're looking at how much seconds have transpired as James was looking for inbound looks, he looked to Flagg, and that was the open option in quotation marks because immediately Manny Sharp batted that one away. So 31.4. So we're checking the clock to see how much time is left, A. And if the 5-second rule, and if James took 5 seconds for inbounding the ball, B. So we'll see how much time was taken for this. So that it seems that James inbounded at the 4.59 second mark. So just before the 5 seconds were up. So he got it off on time. So the clock is going to be set to 31.4 in all essence. So as they're all chanting, "We Will Rock You" by Queen here at the Alamo Dome. The call has been upheld. James got the ball up at 4.59 seconds. And they have put 0.4 seconds back on the clock, so it's been reset to 31.8 seconds. So among free throw shooters, ideally, if you're Houston, you want to foul Tyrese Proctor. He's the worst free throw shooter on the floor on Duke's roster at 68.6%. That's a guy you want to foul. You don't want to foul Knuppel or Flagg in this situation. So it's 67-64 Duke, with Houston trying to blitz every option on the Blue Devils. The Cougars looking to take away space. Trying to do so as Flagg trying to become available. Ball tipped up several times. Intercepted! And it's kicked out. Immediately a free. Bounced up and out. A putback jam! The Cougars within one! This is the extension of March, everyone! It's just about inside. Houston's trying to foul. Flagg gets it up on time. Proctor, he's fouled. And Houston gets their wish. They do foul Tyrese Proctor after the putback jam. How about this from the Cougars?
Damn.
Calvin Sampson is all fired up. And Proctor will shoot 1-1. If he misses this one, Houston has a chance to win it here in regulation. He has made 50% of his shots here in this tournament. 20.3 on the clock here for the Blue Devils. Houston trying to steal the victory. Here it is. Fouls out. And this will be grabbed by Houston, but another whistle. That is going to be a Duke foul. Houston can take the lead here.
And they're down one. 19 seconds to go. Oh, man.
Loose ball foul against Cooper Flagg, and he's saying, "What did I do?" Look, and John Shire is just, what in the world? He's in disbelief. He can't believe it. But Jawan Roberts, he too is shooting 1-1. But he is the worst free throw shooter than Tyrese Proctor at 62.5% shooting throughout the entire season. But he can either tie or take the lead here on a 1-on-1 sequence. He'll get set. He's taking his time here. Houston fans on their feet. And somewhere is Jim Nantz watching. He'll try this one. Good! We are tied!
And number two.
And also somewhere in this crowd is our good friend Kevin Zelix-Kelvix, who is a member of Sports Symposium alongside Matt Sirianni and John Welch. And he's thrilled to see this be a comeback for Houston. Second shot. Houston leads!
By one.
After being down by 14, they can coast this one home, but Duke is not going down. Timeout, John Shire. 17.2 on the clock. Houston on a 13-free run. Calvin Sampson. Calvin Sampson looking for his first national championship appearance. Houston looking for their first national championship appearance in 41 years. That was when they last made it. And it was when they had Hakeem Olajuwon being the centerpiece. And as part of this 13-free run, they have scored 7 points in a span of 15 seconds. Unbelievable. Unimaginable. (68-67) Houston as of right now as they're both drawing this one up. Seeing thriller on top of thriller. Duke was on the wrong side of a Final Four classic just 3 years ago when Coach K bids farewell. And a legacy has been passed from Roy Williams to Hubert Davis, with the North Carolina Tar Heels making it to the national championship. Although they fell in the national championship at the hands of the Kansas Jayhawks, who erased a 15-point deficit in the championship to win it. Oshai Agbayi and Christian Braun were part of that championship winning team with the Jayhawks. Duke has to get their players set up. They can take the lead here on a clutch shot. But they have been on a dry spell for a long time. It was more than 7 minutes between field goals before Cooper Flagg ended this. Do they have a clutch moment here? It is Flagg. Time to shine now for the Blue Devils. 10 seconds. Left hash. Flagg puts it up. Short. And it's going to be grabbed by the Cougars. Houston playing keep away. LJ Cryer. Whistle blows a 2.5. The Houston Cougars on their feet. This is Duke's 10th foul. Houston will shoot 2 the rest of the way. Cryer will shoot 2.
And that should do it.
Up to the challenge.
Should do it.
Up to the challenge. Mentally prepared against this young and talented Duke squad. The veteran-laden team up for the task. And the best defensive team in the nation will have a chance to ice it here. And today, it sent Jim Nantz happy. And the officials are reviewing it to see if there's going to be a common foul or if it's a flagrant, which I believe it should stand as a common foul. I don't think this should be a flagrant in any way, as Flagg's shot is short, as Javier Francis grabs this rebound. See if Flagg gets into the paint as Cryer. I think they're going to check the clock to see when exactly the foul occurred. Flagg hugs Tyrese Proctor. And Cryer will be on the line. They have just confirmed the clock. It'll be 2 shots with 2.5 to go. Duke is out of timeouts, but don't rule out the 3-point shot. .7 officially. That's when the foul has occurred. But LJ Cryer can seal this one up with a pair of free throws should Duke miss their last bucket. First one, good! And on their feet are the Houston bunch here. 3.7 to go as Cryer takes a deep breath. Pressure situations. And Houston can send themselves to the championship. Good! Duke has time to do something on a 3-point shot. They must get it off. How far do they go? Deep inbound. The pass is tipped up. It goes out. Proctor has to heave it up. And it's way over. It's over. The Houston Cougars with the comeback of a lifetime. For the first time in 41 years, they're going to the championship.
Yes, sir.
This, while not March, is an extension of March. Welcome.
Wow. Houston gets the win. What a win it is. Unfortunately, I have to get off here because if I stay on here any longer, I will be kicked off unwillingly. My phone's about to die, but Houston is not. They got the dub. They're going to the championship Monday night, 8 p.m., I think.
8:50, I would think.
Houston, who are they playing on Monday night again?
They will be setting up for a date with the Florida Gators on Monday night.
Oh, that's an easy win for the Cougars. Oh, man. All right. Well, Alec, I will hopefully see you on Monday night. Are you going to do that game?
Hope to see you there, Owen. This is fun. A lot of fun. 70-67, your final score here from San Antonio. And the de facto home team, a chance to go dancing on Monday in the national championship. Your team leaders, LJ Cryer with 26 points, 5 rebounds on 8 of 14 shooting. Emmanuel Sharp, 16 points, 3 of 7 from deep with 3 rebounds. Jawan Roberts with 11 points, 12 rebounds, which is a game high, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 3 of 4 from the line. Cooper Flagg, despite being on the losing end with 27 points, and with 19 of them coming in the second half. 3 of 4 from 3, 8 of 19 shooting, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. Despite being the leading scorer in this game, it was a complete effort, but excellent defense by Houston was the name of what won them this game. That's going to do it. Alongside Owen Redbox Parkin, I am Alec Nava saying so long from the Alamo Dome. Good night, everyone, and we will see you for the championship.